Hello, welcome back to the reading of the poem of the Man God written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 3. Chapter 289, Part 2, From Gerasa to the Fountain of the Camaleer. Of what are you speaking, he asks. We were speaking of the depression that those must feel who do not believe in anything, or have lost the faith they had. Syntyche was really dejected yesterday, although she has come to a perfect faith, replies the zealot. I was saying to Simon that if it is grievous to pass from good to evil, it is also disconcerting to pass from evil to good. In the former case, one is tortured by one's reproaching conscience. In the latter case, one is tormented, like one who has taken to a completely unknown far country. Or it is the dismay of a man who, being a poor, unlearned wretch, should find himself at a king's court, among learned people and gentlemen. It is a pain, I know, such a long suffering. One cannot believe that it is true, that it can last, that one can deserve it, particularly when one's soul is stained, as mine was. And now, John? Asked Jesus. And John of Endor's worn-out, sad face brightens with a smile, which makes it look less emaciated. He says, now it is no longer so. Only gratitude to the Lord remains. Nay, it increases. This the Lord wanted. There is still the memory of the past to keep me humble, but there is certainty. I feel acclimatized. I am no longer a foreigner in this kind world of forgiveness and love, which is yours, and I am serene, happy, and in peace. Do you consider your experience a good one? Yes, I do. If I were not sorry for having sinned, because I grieved God through my sin, I would say that I feel that my past was a good thing. It can help me considerably to support willing but mislaid souls in the first stages of their new belief. Simon, go and tell the boy not to jump about so much. He will be exhausted this evening. Simon looks at Jesus, but he understands the truth behind the order. He smiles intelligently and goes away, leaving the two all alone. Now that we are alone, John, listen to this desire of mine. For a number of reasons, none of my followers have the breadth of judgment and thought which you have, and your culture is wider than the average learning of Israelites. So I ask you to help me. Am I to help you? How? On behalf of Syntyche, you are such a clever teacher. Margium learns quickly and well with you, so much so that I am thinking of leaving you together for some months, because I want Margium to have a wider knowledge than that of the little world of Israel, and it gives you pleasure to take care of him. And I now rejoice seeing you together, you teaching, him learning, you growing young again, him maturing in learning. But you should take care of Syntyche as well, as if she were a lost sister. You said it yourself. One feels lost. Help her to become acclimatized in my atmosphere. Will you do me this favor? It is a grace for me to do it, my lord. I did not approach her because I considered myself superfluous, but if you wish so. She reads my roles. There are some which are sacred, some are only cultural. Roles from Rome and Athens. I see that she goes through them and meditates, but I never intervened in order to assist her. If you want, yes, I do. I want you to be friends, like Margium and you. She will be staying in Nazareth for some time. It will be lovely. My mother and you, the teachers of two souls, opening to God. My mother, the angelical teacher of the science of God. You, the experienced master of human knowledge, which you can now explain with supernatural references. It will be lovely and useful. Yes, my blessed Lord, too beautiful for poor John. and the man smiles at the thought of the oncoming peaceful days with Mary in Jesus' house. And the road winds along a beautiful country, which is now completely flat after skirting a few little hills just out of Gerasa, in the mild sunshine which is becoming warmer and warmer. It is a well-kept road on which it is comfortable to travel and to take to it again after the midday rest. It is almost evening when I hear Syntyche laugh wholeheartedly for the first time. Margium, in fact, has said something to her which makes all the women laugh. I see the Greek woman bend to caress the boy and kiss him lightly on his forehead. The boy then resumes jumping about as if he did not feel at all tired. But all the others are tired and are glad for the decision to spend the night at the fountain of the Camaleer. The merchant says, "I always stop here overnight. The leg from Gerasa to Basra is too long, both for men and animals." "The merchant is humane," remarked the apostles, comparing him to Doros. The fountain of the Camaleer is only a handful of houses around several wells. It is a kind of oasis, not in the arid desert, because there is no aridity here, but an oasis in the vast uninhabited fields and orchards which follow one another for miles, and which, as the October evening draws on, give the same sad sensation as the sea at twilight. Thus the sight of houses, the noise of voices, of crying children, the smell of smoking chimneys, and the first lights to be lit are as pleasant as one's arrival at home. While the Camaleers stop to water the camels for the first time, the apostles and the women follow Jesus and the merchant who enter the rather prehistoric inn which will shelter them during the night. They are all gathered near a very large fireplace, which takes up the whole of the narrow wall of a large smoky room where they have taken their meal, and where the men will sleep and servants are already preparing straw beds on mats. The fire is on because it is a cold, damp evening. "Let us hope it will not start raining," says Peter with a sigh. The merchant reassures him. "The bad weather will not begin until this lunation is over. It is always like this in the evening here, but it will be sunshine tomorrow. It's for the women, you know, not for me. I'm a fisherman, and I live in water, and I can assure you that I prefer water to mountains and dust." Jesus is speaking to the women and his two cousins. John of Endor and the Zealot are also listening to him. Instead, Timaeus and Ermastius are reading one of John's rolls, and the two Israelites are explaining to Ermastius the Bible passages which are more obscure to him. Margium is listening, spellbound, but he looks sleepy. Mary of Alphaeus notices it and says, "The child is tired. Come, dear, let us go to bed. Come, Eliza. Come, Salome. Old people and children are better in bed, and you had all better go as well. You are tired." But besides the elder ones, with the exception of Marcella and Joanna of Chuza, no one moves. This has been a reading from the poem of the Man God, written by Maria Valtorta, Volume 3. Chapter 289, Part 2. From Gerasa to the Fountain of the Camaleer. Thank you for listening. I will see you tomorrow. May God bless you, and may peace be with you.